Okay, well, for some reason that thing went into a loop instead of stopping. But, hopefully that'll be our technical glitch tonight. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Multicast. Now, tonight is entitled In Contempt. And the reason for that is a new information came my way. And it would appear that Randy Lynn Erickson needs to appear in court. And it reads as follows. Please take note that based upon the affidavit in support of order to show cause and all of the recordings and proceedings in this case, the court has issued an order for you to appear on April 13th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Minnesota time via Zoom. Now, this was sent to Randy Erickson. I actually had this a little backwards, but this is Sawyer versus Erickson, and this was issued a while back, and I just now came across it. But basically, it means that Randy Erickson has to show up in court to answer this contempt citation. Now, what does this mean? Well, this is what it's about. This is Violation of restraining order. A person who violates a restraining order issued under this section is subject to the paragraph or penalties provided in B to D. Except as otherwise provided in paragraphs C and D, when a temporary restraining order or a restraining order is granted under this section, the respondent knows of the order. Violation of the order is a misdemeanor. C. A person is guilty of a gross misdemeanor who knowingly violates the order during the time period between a previous conviction under this subdivision, sections 609 and so on and so forth. This one really doesn't apply yet because this is going to be her first violation. A person is guilty of a felony and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 5 years or to payment of a fine of not more than $10,000 or both if the person knowingly violates the order, 1. During the time period between the first two or previous convictions under this subdivisions or so on and so forth, and at the end of the 5 years following discharge from the sentence of that conviction. But anyway, at the very minimum, Randy Lynn Erickson faces the possibility of being subject to a misdemeanor conviction. Now, this, we are on the 19th of March, so we will know in April what's going to happen. It turns out that April's going to be a busy month because now we have this Zoom hearing coming up, which Randy has to appear on it. And we also have the Neely Blanchard case coming up. And there is more breaking news in the case of Cynthia Abzug with the Colorado court. Based on information that I just received, it would appear that those around Cynthia Abzug and Cynthia herself may be ready to reach some kind of an agreement with the Colorado court. Well, and this may come in the form of a plea agreement. I'm not exactly sure where this is going. Cynthia is reportedly trying desperately to get her custody of her children back, and she is working hard with the appropriate agencies to get herself in a position to where she would be able to do this. And apparently this agreement that's being worked on with the state of Colorado may make that possible. Now, as the situation develops, I will keep you informed as to when I get information on this. But instead of going to Colorado to cover a week-long trial, I may only be going there for a single day, if that, to hear the court decision when it comes to her future. So I will keep everybody apprised of any developments that happens in this case. Well, the charge is child abuse by unnecessary medical treatment. It was originally thought that Cynthia Absug was going to be charged with Munchausen's by proxy, or she was going to be charged with kidnapping or attempted kidnapping of her male child. Now, the charges at this point aren't completely clear. There's been a back and forth between the court and the prosecution and defense in this case, and she is going to possibly be able to plea herself out of the situation and maybe, just maybe, get some kind of custody of her son, who is the reason for all this. This is all going to depend on how the court decides. Right now, this is just very preliminary information. I just received this, and I'm going to have to research it further to nail down the details and whether or not Cynthia is going to be able to come out of this on some kind of a positive note. So what we will have to do is see where we go with this. Good evening to everybody as you stream in here. Now, I don't know about the bleach treatments. What she was doing because of Munchausen's apparently was that she was saying that there were things wrong with her son, and it took a hospital in Colorado to determine that this was not the case. They suspected Munchausen's and contacted the authorities. And she was supposed to appear in court in regards to this, and she left the state of Colorado. An associate, allegedly, of Field McConnell came to her house to act as a bodyguard, and she somehow got her hands on a revolver, and with a medical student that she had befriended, she went east. It was said she wound up in Plum City, Wisconsin, where she visited with Field McConnell briefly. She went there to Virginia to allegedly get some kind of a diplomatic passport from a woman who had connections with the United States, and then she traveled down to Georgia to meet with someone she knew, and then from there she went to Florida, where she met with Field McConnell. Or not Field McConnell, excuse me. She met with Christopher Hallett of E-Clause. And then from there she traveled up to Arkansas. From there she went to Montana, I believe it was, to appear on Northwest Liberty News. And it was shortly after that that she was apprehended, presumably within a few miles of the Canadian border. She was then extradited back to Colorado, where she is currently awaiting trial on the attempted kidnapping charge and possibly the inappropriate medical treatment that she was alleged to have given her son. So we are basically waiting to see where this is going to go. She may come out of this in a lot better position than Neely Blanchard, who is awaiting trial on first-degree murder of all people, Christopher Hallett. So these two women are connected to Christopher Hallett in one way or another. And both women are also connected to E-Clause and to Field McConnell and Randy Erickson, Tim Holmseth, and so on. So a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Has Dr. Good Vibes gotten in any trouble over this whole snafu? Apparently not. they apparently, the authorities for right now anyway, are concentrating on Cynthia's actions and Cynthia alone. And they are also concentrating on Neely's actions and Neely's alone. Now that does not mean that we have not seen, or we have seen the end of anything involving uh, Field McConnell and this other group in this particular incident, and also in dealings with uh, Neely Blanchard and Chris Hallett and so forth, because Neely Blanchard's trial is where I think some of the more interesting things are coming out. I mean, we had some pretty weird discovery evidence coming out in the Neely Blanchard trial. Presumably, a woman actually recorded a conversation between Neely Blanchard and oh boy, my my green screen just fouled up here. Let me see if I can straighten it out. Well, no green screen. I'm just going to put up the fly logo and be done with that. Oop, not that either. My green screen just went to crap again. I'm having continuing problems with the software, and I don't know what to do about it. So we'll just leave my logo up, and I'll stay off camera. So let me go down through here. But anyway, there's some intriguing discovery evidence. There's a woman that, in talking to Neely, recorded her conversation on a spy camera. And there's also depositions that are supposed to be taking place as we speak with Neely's mother and one or two other witnesses by remote telephonic interviews or interviews at remote locations with representatives of either law enforcement or defense counsel. That's something that's going to come about as the weeks go by, and we're getting reports of law enforcement officials being interviewed and body cam footage being submitted to the court, depositions given by Neely Blanchard being submitted to the court as discovery evidence in the forthcoming trial. And so I think that the Blanchard case is going to be the one to watch. That the really important stuff is going to happen here, because the defense is going to have bring forth a plea of temporary insanity, at least to get her off death row, because the state of Florida at last report was going to seek the death penalty in her case, because she basically executed allegedly Chris Hallett. Good evening, Levi. Honored to have you here tonight, and everybody else that I haven't spoken about. So, basically, that's where we're at. Things are gaining steam. Now, this Zoom hearing is the latest in a number of court battles that have been going on in the state of Minnesota between Randy Erickson, Craig Sawyer, Ken Picasio, and others that are mentioned in all these restraining orders that are flying around. Well, anything is possible. I think the courts are going to do a lot of exposing, because the violations I've been so blatant. Hmm. Not sure why. Oh, I know why that is. Um, yeah, Levi's been keeping everybody um, on their toes. There's no telling what's going to happen with Neely. Now, one thing that happened way back when is Neely actually tweeted me. Uh, or no, it wasn't Neely, my bad. It was Cynthia Absug tweeted asking me if I was investigating the frauds, which was Field McConnell and Tim Homeseth. So Cynthia Absug understands there's a fraud here, and I think Neely understands it because that's allegedly the reason that she murdered Chris Hallett, was that she was betrayed by Chris Hallett, in her eyes, because he could not keep the promises he had made to get back her children from CPS. And she had also heard that there was a possibility that um, sorry, I was getting a message that Chris Hallett was actually preventing her from getting her children back, and he had stated that he was actually working against her, and that's what angered her. Okay, this apparently, I just got a message with this statement by Tim Homeseth, and I'm going to bring it into the room. It's going to take me a minute. But he had made a couple statements. He had made a statement reinforcing his support of Donald Trump, apparently because of a case that he had somehow gotten involved with, having to do with a woman who alleged to have been abused by the Trump. I think her name is Claire Walker. And that particular association has caused a bit of a rift on the internet, and now people are saying that Claire Walker may not be who she says she is, or at least may not be on a sane plane of existence, which is something from this crowd. But this is a statement that was just sent to me. Minnesota judge received cannibal evidence while working on Trump's task force under Executive Order 13818, blocking the property of persons involved with serious human rights abuse or corruption. Now, again, Tim Homeseth is declaring himself a war correspondent, and this is absolutely false. Tim would never go near a war scene, battlefield, or anything like that. He's too much of a coward. But one of the labels he has put on himself, he is now declaring to be a war correspondent. But, what are you going to do? These people don't know the truth. Randy Lynn Erickson, 61, Minnesota, submitted sworn affidavits to the United States military that were authored, written, and signed by an eyewitness to crimes against humanity: torture, murder, cannibalism, crimes against children. Erickson is part of a task force formed by First Lady Melania Trump and works with a liaison to President Trump, who turns over evidence of international crimes to the military and communicates with Trump. The task force works in conjunction with Presidential Executive Order 13818 blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. Now, the court documents that Timothy is talking about here is nothing more than this back and forth between her and Craig Sawyer and other people like Mr. Hammer and Mrs. Picasso. And this is blatantly false, defamatory information, and it's not really going to go anywhere. And the injunction that I just read has to do with this particular situation, because Craig Sawyer, Kim Picasso, and Mr. Hammer have filed restraining orders against Randy Lynn Erickson as well as Timothy Charles Holmseth regarding these filings. And Craig Sawyer has also filed with the court a petition to have all this information removed from the court, and the attorney is asking for injunction relief and for Randy Lynn Erickson to pay for Craig Sawyer's legal expenses to date, which is a considerable amount of money. So that all has to be dredged through the court. But this nonsense by Tim Holmseth is blatantly false. And, you know, it's just this nonsense going around in the courts up in Minnesota eventually is going to be decided, and someone is not going to be very happy. So we're just going to have to sit back and wait and see where all this is going. But it doesn't look good for Randy and company. Now, Greg Sawyer, interestingly enough, is on friendly terms with attorney Lynn Wood, who is Tim Holmseth's hero at the moment. Now, I have heard rumors that Lynn Wood has deleted a bunch of tweets made about Tim Holmseth, that he is no longer on the good side of Lynn Wood. Probably never was to begin with. It was somebody sent Lynn Wood an article about Tim Holmseth, and when Craig Sawyer made clear what he thought of Tim Holmseth, Lynn Wood actually praised Craig Sawyer and said, well, it was just somebody sent me this thing and I figured it was worth putting up. I have no idea who this guy is. And things have gone downhill ever since. And good evening, Alex. Welcome to the general discussion tonight. Basically going over all this information that's coming out about Randy Erickson and the latest with Cynthia Absug. So it looks like we're progressing forward a bit on things. And in another interesting development, it would appear that somebody else is turning his back on Tim Holmseth, and that is Mr. David Straight, because it would appear that FBI agents have been attending his seminars and paying for the seminars just like you would if you're a regular customer, and just sitting there absorbing all this stuff, gathering information. And this little meeting that happened recently had to do with this claim that he is ex-military, and this bloated resume he had that is defined as stolen valor. And one of the things that's come out is an allegation that Randy Lynn Erickson is actually getting a commission based on either setting these seminars that Mr. Strait holds up or referring people to the seminars. That if she can prove that it was because of her that these people are showing up at his seminars, that she will get a kickback, or what they call a referral commission. Now, since all this is based on the false premise of David Strait having this glorified resume, this would be a case of wire fraud. And so this aspect is likely what the FBI is investigating. And because of this, David Strait may not be in communication with either Tim Holmseth or Randy Erickson, that they may be he may be distancing himself from her. So it remains to be seen where we are going to go with these seminars, whether he is going to get FBI confronting him, or if there are simply more agents kind of sitting in on these seminars. Now, another problem that David Strait may be facing is with the Internal Revenue Service. He seems to believe that he can write off the funds of those seminars as gifts or donations from those who tune in, and he is not, according to him, subject to income tax. And that is completely wrong. At some point, the Internal Revenue Service is going to come knocking on his door with a bill for back taxes for Mr. Strait to deal with. And I guess he's going to have to look in the yellow pages and find one of these tax relief organizations to try and get him out of this mess. Or else he's going to have to get himself a defense lawyer, a tax defense lawyer, or he is going to have to try and defend himself through his sovereign citizen beliefs. And so this would be interesting. And while we're talking about sovereign citizens, we must not forget Smirky Kirky. Smirky Kirky had a hearing recently, and that got continued. Again, I think we're going into April on this one, where he is going to appear in court to deal with his latest legal conundrum. And so Mr. Kirky is going to have to appear in court, and we'll see how that one goes up there in Ada County, Idaho, wherever the hell he lives. So the wannabe lawyer with a mugshot is going to get to play Mr. Lawyer with a mugshot in court. And also, again, over on Telegram, more and more people are starting to question Tim Holmseth and his listings because he is not doing anything current, and people are beginning to wonder where he's at. You know, why he's not doing anything current. He is recycling over and over again old material that he's put out there for years, or else someone puts material out there. And okay, this was posted at 9:29 p.m. Over on Telegram. Alex Goddard and Levi Page are in merch chat. So that's breaking news over at the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. So that means that we've got members of the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force is gang stalking my channel again. And you know, they are obsessed with this channel. And you know, I find it interesting that they're targeting me, but Randy Erickson is the one who is filing this stuff. You know, it's current, relevant information. It's there. And apparently there's 2 more seminars coming up for David Street, according to the latest that I've gotten. But what I'm doing is I have to go through a convoluted process here. But I got spreadsheet for days. Yeah, that you do. And okay, let me go over here. Because this is, you know, these people whine. Okay, Dallas, Texas. Mr. Straight has one in March 25th to 27th. And another one in April in Atlanta, Georgia, the 15th through the 17th. So there's that. So anybody that wants to go check Mr. Straight out, you know, there you go. Maybe I'll get sent a commission. Who knows? But anyway, let me do this. Okay, we're going to do that one. And we're going to do this one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bring 2 interesting pieces of information in here. Now, I commented on these on Twitter. And this is the first one. Now, Infiltrated for Truth claims that I work for Kim Picasio. Oh, this is about someone else. She works with Kim Picasio as an admin for Mert and his lives. So I guess, I wonder how many lives I have. I mean, I must be a cat because I have all these lives. So, actually, I guess this is someone that can't edit their stuff. I mean, I can't bother too much. But note the time down here, 9:17 p.m. This is coming up. They're actually screen grabbing my live stream and whining about it. But I report on court cases, and Randy Lynn Erickson is subject to appear in court in April. Now, it's a matter of record in the court. You know, I just didn't make this stuff up out of thin air. So when you people go over there and post on Telegram, you might want to get your facts straight, because Tim Holmseth just reported on this. And he said she submitted blah, 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 blah. And this is a counter by Craig Sawyer. You know, but these people are crybabies. They sit there and they make all these weird accusations against us, and then when we call them out, they had this horrific burr up their ass. Uh, okay, this is what's over on Telegram. So they are reporting back in real time. Alexander Goddard is a German woman that assaulted a man with hot sauce. She has a hatred towards Randy Erickson. What does she know about the poisoning of Brian? Now, this is interesting. Now, remember, in the court papers, Randy Erickson is saying that her husband may have been poisoned, that her husband is the target of an assassination attempt. I mean, that's usually what happens when there's attempted poisoning. And now she is implying that Alex Goddard may have something to do with it. Now, that's a pretty serious accusation. And Goddard is in merch chat bragging about her lengthy spread shirt like a man with his... Not sure what that's supposed to be. But, you know, they are gang stalking this chat once again. And they are brainwashed into believing everything about Tim Homseth in this address that came out, which had absolutely nothing to do with Tim Homseth or the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. Neither have heard about the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, and even David Lester Straight is questioning the legitimate. David Lester Straight actually came out and said that it was a stupid name made up for a volunteer group. Now, that's not a task force. That's simply a group of people that took it upon themselves to create this fake task force. And, you know, and these people over on BitChute and over on Telegram are obsessed with a task force which is basically a fraud. And these people are basically being played. And they don't seem to care, because as long as Tim Homseth goes along with the narrative that these people put forth, he's a hero in their eyes. And he can say or do anything. None of these people know anything about Kim Picasio or anybody else involved in their attack. Why the fuck did Goddard go to Timothy's trial with that horribly evil, wretched woman, Kim Picasio? Well, the answer is quite simple, because Alex is a friend of Kim Picasio, and she was there for support. Now, you know, I don't, you know, these people must not know that there is such a thing as the right of people to appear as viewers of these cases. But, you know, they're ignorant of the way things work in this country anyway. But, you know, it's really, you know, it's really funny how obsessed these people are with things they know nothing about. You know, Tim has managed to get these people all worked up about something that is absolute zero. And so now they can go over there and gossip like people on, you know, the Alice Kravitz world about people they don't know, and this is doing nothing, absolutely nothing, to help exploited children in child trafficking, children that appear in pornographic videos, or any of that. I don't see where any of this is accomplishing anything in that sphere. They are attacking innocent people that are not guilty of anything with these ridiculous statements. And, I don't think these people have the brains to understand fact from fiction because of the things that they actually believe. So. But, they are okay, now we're getting into gossip. I mean, I don't understand what any of this means. She's talking about going on vacation to Fort Lauderdale. This has to be the famous woman from Virginia to be posting this. This has absolutely nothing for the resolution of child trafficking or any of this stuff. This is just kindergarten, playground stuff, name calling. They're calling me stupid, Murd. It's jealousy, basically, because I don't know what they're jealous of, but they got to be jealous of something to be posting this kindergarten crap over on Telegram. And this shows the lack of intelligence of those people over there, because I don't see any discussion of anything factual. And right after I read that, it got deleted. So once again, we are this TJ or whoever the heck it is deleting all this stuff. So, it's just a bunch of brain dead people over there spreading lies, making the case you can't explain this stuff to normal people because it doesn't make sense. People don't understand that there are weirdos out there who are basically following a pig farmer. It was a pig farmer that made up QAnon. The Russians got a hold of it and realized how stupid people are in the world, and they've exploited it. And the proof is in the fact that these people in this Pentagon Pedophile Task Force group on Telegram support Vladimir Putin. And he's slaughtering women and children in an act of genocide, and these people don't care. They're right in there supporting the killing of women and children. It's not invasion of privacy because you are discussing me. That this person over in Telegram has got a burr up her ass or his ass because I'm reading her tweets. But what this person doesn't understand is they are talking about me. And this is a public forum you're on over in Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. So, if you don't like the fact that your posts are being read over here, then number one, quit being on this channel reading my comments back to your cult members over there, because it's not an invasion of privacy. I don't think any... Yeah, there you go, Butterfly Mama. This person does this all the time. They post stuff, they delete it, and then they'll close their account. It's the same person doing this all the time. And it's, it's the same person. I guarantee you this stuff is all going to disappear. She does this all the time. She's over here on my channel and she's doing a running commentary over on Telegram, uh, trying to get support for uh, her hero, Vladimir Putin. And she's basically coming out and saying that she, this TIGHTANIUM Justice, is supporting the slaughter of women and children and supporting the bombing of hospitals, theaters, schools, and residential apartments. You know, she supports genocide, is what's coming here. So, she's, now even Telegram is calling her out. You know, these are not my friends over there, but they don't like this posting and deleting. Well, she must be multitasking, Eva. And just, It looks like that shut her up. They got 19 people on line over there, so that's funny. They got the exact same number of people online on theirs that I've got on here. So we're a match in that department. Yeah, Evil Destroyer. That ED is actually an acronym for something else, so I imagine there's a dysfunction there somewhere. But they're always checking on this channel. And another interesting thing, I brought this up before and I'm going to bring it up again because I'm watching it. Timothy Charles Homeseth Reports blog has quit posting since January 28th, 2022. And now the only latest post on the blog is begging for t-shirts. Nothing along that blog. Now they put stuff over on Gab and Telegram and BitChute, but it's recycling old stuff. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Nothing new. Yeah, t-shirts and coffee mugs, and there's actually two separate sites. And, that's... that's basically all they're doing. And so... But, they're just... The problem with the Telegram website is that they are using the name Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, which is operated by Randy Lynn Erickson. And so they are providing evidence to the court that she is continuing to violate the restraining order that was granted against 3 people. And right now, Craig Sawyer is the one taking action, and I would suspect that the other 2 people that have these restraining orders are also going to jump on the bandwagon because of all the evidence that is being provided to the court regarding these violations. And so we're going to find out in April what's going to happen Timmy's sale is $666 each. Well, that's a hell of a commission. And that's interesting. The task force Twitter account actually has 3 6s in succession as part of their username. the mark of the beast, which, that's appropriate enough. But we're getting. I'm coming up on the top of the hour, and there's really nothing much to discuss tonight. Now, there's a possibility I'm going to be on tomorrow night if there's any new developments, which at this point I don't know if there is. Because other than this countdown that we're going to start on this April appearance, I really don't see anything else. We're going to have to watch and see what happens with David Street, Cynthia Absug, and these others that are now getting themselves more and more involved in these court actions. It's interesting to note that there's been no criminal referrals in regards to the poisoning of Mr. Erickson. So, I just spotted this question. Well, it would be in the best interest of Randy Erickson to be on that Zoom hearing. She doesn't have to physically be in court. She just has to get herself a telephone and get on the air and see what kind of excuse that she's going to give the court for why she is continuing, allegedly, to be in contempt of these orders. She was told to knock it off. The court recognized it. She was served, and she is aware of it because she's trying to get it thrown out. And yet she continues to publish this stuff on these various social media accounts. And, it's just stacking the things up. Now, remember, when Tim Holmseth did this, he wound up with 4 counts of these violations. Which is why he can't show his face in Minnesota again. Because now he's got a contempt citation for failure to appear in court. And so this creates a problem for Randy because it's, she has a business, and it's going to be hard to operate a business when you can't even get into the state where you're licensed to operate. Now, an additional rumor that I have heard is that she is actually using funds from her company to supply Tim Holmseth with resources to be on the lam, to be in hiding, to go dark, go silent, and all this stuff. That she is actually paying for it along with another woman that goes around wearing what they did was this. The state of Minnesota has a law where if you cannot get a hold of somebody physically, you can file a notice in a newspaper after, I think it's like 30 days or something. And that's what they did. They filed a notification to her in a newspaper about this restraining order. And she is quite aware of it because she is turned around and trying to get it thrown out. And that proves that she is aware of it. Now, she has been using her residence as a address on all these. If you notice at the bottom here, that is her residential address. And so they're using that to send this information. Sonny, from what I understand, that he was under orders because he was a member of the military to protect a VIP, which happens to be Hillary. Now, Craig Sawyer is on record right up until recently saying he does not support Hillary Clinton, that he would like to see her arrested and charged. So, anyone that is placing Craig Sawyer as a supporter of Hillary Clinton is a liar. Now, Craig Sawyer is friends with Lynn Wood, and is also friends with the general. Yeah, so he's recognized on both sides as a friend of the cause. And, this kind of creates a bit of a problem because he's caught in one side in regards to the general, and on the other side in regards to Lynn Wood. What do we got here? Oh. So things are calming down over in the dark side. But, when you're a soldier, you follow orders. You don't say, I don't like this woman politically. I am just going to, not follow orders. You can throw me in the grid, court-martial me or whatever, Craig Sawyer did his duty as any good soldier would, and that's the end of it. He didn't change his mind about Hillary. He's not supporting Hillary in any way, shape, or form. And this is part of what's going on here, is that these people are saying that he's working with Hillary on all this stuff when he's not. And that's part of the defamation. So, that's where we're at. So, again, I thank everybody for showing up. It's been an interesting evening. Got a little bit out of the way there. Not a heck of a lot to report, but I reported a few things. But please like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification button, because if anything comes up, yeah, I had a brain fart and couldn't remember General Flynn, so thanks for that. But as I get any breaking developments or new developments, I will come on here and give these reports. Now, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow night. If there's anything to talk about, I will do a truth-a-thon on my other channel. I won't do a multicast or a multicast unless something unusual comes up. But just stay tuned, see what happens. And until we meet again, good night and have a good one. This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1, signing off.